everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Tyleibella. I'm a lifestyle mindset and self-development creator. If you like my content and you want to see more, please make sure to click the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you never miss a video. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips for beginner witches. And this is to help you get the best out of your spell work. Now, before I start, I'm going to talk a little bit about open and closed practices because this had my mind boggled. And it's quite a big controversial topic. So such as voodoo, hoodoo, shamanism. Now obviously these are so open to research, but unless you're part of the culture, you're not allowed to take part in these practices. Whereas with open practices such as Wiccan, paganism, elemental work, divination, like traditional witchcraft, they're open to everybody, but obviously do your research. Now there is some controversial practices such as Buddhism, using white sage in practices, and the chakras, mainly because in Buddhism there is some parts that are open and some parts that are closed, so it's very confusing. I don't necessarily agree with all of these, but definitely do your research before you use any of these things in your practice. So let's get into the fun part now. My tip number 1 is to have a book of shadows. This is my little book of shadows. It is green and it has a really cute pattern of animals. All of my spells that I do, every single spell that I've ever done, is in this book, and you write down how much of an ingredient you use, exactly the steps you do, and if anything goes wrong, I've got the whole record of the spell, or if I want to do it over again, I've got exactly the way I did it last time. It's just good to keep a record of the spells that you're doing if you're practicing witchcraft regularly. How cute is this book? And I love leopards. I wish it was a tiger. I love tigers more. But my second tip is to make moon water. Make moon water, sun water, put it in every single spell. It amplifies your spells. If you have a manifestation box, which I do, this is my moon water. I actually don't have a lot left. This is new moon water. I think it's new moon water, and with amethyst in it. So keep it out the sun. The moon water can't go in sunlight and the sun water can't go in moonlight. So with my moon water, I like to keep my moon water, it's in a little salt thing, but how cute is it? With my moon water, I like to put it on top of my manifestation box. So anytime I write something down, something that I really want to manifest, I'll put it on top of a little box. I'm not going to show you the box, but I put all my manifestations inside that little box and then put the moon water on top of the box. And this just amplifies my manifestations. So my third tip is to go to a local park, a local forest, a local woods, pick some flowers, pick some daisies, buttercups, daffodils, things like twigs, leaves, bark. Now with the flowers, I like to dry them and then take the petals off. And I'm actually going to show you, give me a sec. This is an obsession, it's not even okay. But so these are my jars, and this one's jasmine, this one's orange, got some eggshells, this is some bark. I actually found a stick and then I sanded the stick down. I debarked it, sanded it down and polished it. Another thing you can do is to grow things on your balcony. So I've got, what have I got out there at the moment? Okay, so I grew basil and rocket, and there was so much of it, so what was left over I dried and then put into the little jars. You can do this with lilies, so I have a lily plant on my balcony. Because the flowers only last so long, lilies are really good for spells, so I dry the petals and then I put them in the jar and use it for a spell. Marigolds, I had a big marigold plant, but I had to cut all the flowers off because they was dying, so I dried them and they're currently not being used for anything, but they're in a jar. So there's so much you can do with these different flowers, herbs, bay leaves, cinnamon. I love working with bay leaves and cinnamon, but literally anything can be used in spell work, which is kind of going to bring me to my fourth tip, and this is to collect your jars. I label my jars as you just saw, literally just masking tape and a black pen. It's so cute to just keep all your ingredients in little jars with the little labels on. You can actually use these jars to make your spells in. I prefer to use little jars like this, but literally use whatever jar. My fifth tip is to get yourself a spell book. Now I have this one. It is really good because in the back, let me find it. So here it tells you all the herbs, spices, basically all the ingredients and what they mean. So for instance, basil is protection, love, prosperity and psychic abilities, whereas the bay leaf is for purification, healing, strength. Then it gives you what all the elements mean, so how you can use all the elements and what they represent. And same with the crystals. And on a page, there's a page here and it tells you what colours you can use that correlate with a spell that you're doing. So yellow is happiness, clarity and memory. So it's a really good book. It talks about the moon phases, the meaning of the days of the week, and it has been very helpful. It also comes with spells that you can do daily. There's so many spells in here. It's a very good book. It teaches you how to cast your circle of protection, which I'll get onto a little bit later. But it's just a really good book if you're a beginner witch. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about that book is that it tells you, or it gives you rituals that you can do on the Sabbaths, because I love celebrating the Sabbaths, but I'm not always sure what to do on the Sabbaths. So this book is very helpful. I also use this one. It's fairy magic, and it also gives you rituals to do on the Sabbath. Call me crazy, but I think it's cute. So my tip number 6 is casting a circle of protection. It's basically creating a space that is safe to work in without any outside influence. And obviously this is a choice, you do not have to do this, but the option is there. So you face east and you hold your index finger out in front of you. Then whilst imagining a bubble around you, you're going to move your finger clockwise 3 times while saying, I cast a circle of protection to work free from outside influence, so mote it be. Then to open the circle, you're going to face east again, but now you're going to move your finger anti-clockwise and you're going to say, I open the circle of protection, blessed be, whilst visualising that bubble almost floating away or popping. And then the 7th tip is just a reminder that practicing witchcraft, it isn't a religion, so there's no rules, there's nothing that you have to do. It's all based on what you want to do. So you don't have to use candles. If you don't like using fire, you can use little like tea lights. They have a little switch and that can be your fire. You do not have to meditate to be a witch. You don't have to do shadow work to be a witch. Obviously this stuff helps, but it's so not necessary. My 8th tip is to work with the moon phases. I love this. I actually have a video on this. I'm going to leave it somewhere around here. It's specifically for manifestation, but working with the moon and its phases is so powerful, especially for women. And if you bleed when the moon is full, then you are a priestess and you're very powerful women, as we all are. But you have a red moon cycle. Do not take this for gospel. I could be wrong. Whereas if you're bleeding on the new moon, you have a white moon cycle. Definitely look into this because this is very powerful and you can use this to your advantage. Number 9 is you've got to try a little bit of everything to know what works for you. So maybe you like working with herbs, or you prefer working with tarot and cards and divination, or maybe you like healing with crystals. And in my experience, it's the one that feels effortless and it kind of just comes to you. So, I mean, I grew up with a lot of this stuff, so I've kind of just fallen into it, kind of found what I like based on the things that I grew up with. But obviously for people who don't have this, just try everything. It's fun, it's an experience, and you're learning through experimenting. So I say go for it and try it all. And then my 10th tip is to adapt your spell. If you don't have a bay leaf, then swap it out for something else, or replace the cinnamon with another herb. It's about what works for you. And the way I think of it is it's the intention that counts. As long as you are making a spell with the intention that it protects you, that's it. Intention is so important when casting a spell. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want a part 2, comment down below. I will see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.